Hi everybody, it's RPG Grandma. I think the camera's over here. All right, so I know it's Monday. I'm not going to do a Monster Monday today. Sorry, guys. I am, though, however, going to start with more information on Metamorphosis Alpha about the game in general. Um, so I wanted to start looking at the abilities for the player characters and how they're used. And Metamorphosis Alpha has mental resistance. So let's start with that, and then we'll take a look at what happened with Gamma World and um, what's going on in D&D at the same time period, so that you guys can sort of grasp, like, if you're moving things around between the games. All right. This is the player's ability to withstand an attack on his or her mind by mental energy. This ability is strengthened by use. The rationale behind this is that the mind, after surviving an attack, forms new barriers to that type of attack. These barriers are always up without thought or special effort on the part of the player. Therefore, for every 5 aggressive mental attacks, which a being survives and resists successfully, his or her mental resistance factor increases by 1 until he or she reaches the 18 figure. So what I just read there was a little quote. Every mutation that has more than 1 mental power must have at least a mental resistance of 12. When rolling for simultaneous attacks, if both attackers make the roll needed, both of the attacks negate each other. Physical attack prohibits a being from making a mental attack. So very much like magic, mental activity by one being is not interrupted by a mental attack by another being. That is, defense against the attack may be made while continuing the activity. A successful mental attack will have effect depending upon its type: mental blast, illusion, generation, etc., not necessarily interrupting the original activity. So they use a chart very much like THACO. You've got 3 through 18, which is the mental resistance, and then you have 3 through 18 going across like this, which is the power of being attacking. And when they come out with a Gamma World, they actually flip the chart around a bit differently, but the numbers actually are all the same. So it actually is still working mathematically the same. It just visually looks different. The power of being and they increased they increased it, so that changes things a little bit too. But the basic concept is the same. The power of being attacking is equal to his original mental resistance before it was adjusted for defects or experience. This is interesting. In other words, your defense could get better in Metamorphosis Alpha, but your attacking power is stuck. A number is a score which must be beaten on a roll of a 3 6-sided dice. So they're using 3 6-sided dice. That's why it starts at 3. I think in Gamma World they've transitioned to the 20-sided dice, as we'll talk about here. It means the attack successfully. There's some attacks that you don't have to roll for. You're just going to be successful. And then there were other attacks that it's just not even possible. So we're going to talk a little bit about Gamma World now. Mental strength. So the name was changed, and you'll see that it's expanded a bit. So just like in Metamorphosis Alpha, the beings gain strength, if you will, by being attacked and by launching attacks, though. So that's a difference. And it follows the same formula every 5 successful, either defending or attacking. And they have a lot bigger section on this, just in general in the beginning, in the first edition rules. But the basic logic's exactly the same between the two games. The big difference is they moved to rolling with a 20-sided dice, and when they did that kind of changed things a little bit, and it kind of made the charts look different. I'll have to figure out a way to get charts blown up and just show you guys side by side, but it's just one thing to be cognitive between the two games. I mean, if you look at them mathematically, they work out the same, because you still start with a mental strength of 3 being the lowest, and it still goes up to a maximum of 18. Now, D&D did not have a similar ability score. So, Gamma World and Metamorphosis Alpha's psionic powers are really easy to use. They are really easy to use compared to what came out in Eldritch Wizardry. And so that creates a problem, because D&D has a completely separate psionic system. But it does bring us to some other things that happen between the games. The intelligence ability that appears to be missing in Metamorphosis Alpha, okay, but it's present in D&D and Gamma World. When I went through the positive mental mutations in Metamorphosis Alpha, heightened intelligence modifies mental resistance by increasing it by 4 up to a maximum of 18. In other words, your mental resistance is also your intelligence score in Metamorphosis Alpha. So I think that's important to kind of understand. And you have to have this heightened intelligence mutation to communicate intelligently, interact with ancient ship technology, if you are a plant or animal mutant, okay, to act logically. So it is the dual power there. In Gamma World, they split it in 2, made intelligence and made mental strength to create 2 separate abilities. And then that affects what you see happen with Constitution and radiation resistance, which will be another episode. So what we're going to look at is kind of how these things developed. So if you play Metamorphosis Alpha and you want to bring in stuff from Gamma World, or you want to bring in stuff in D&D, or any other combination thereof, Metamorphosis to those, I'm going through this step by step so that you have a starting place, an idea about how to do these things. So I hope this helps. We are still in COVID lockdown. I'm all by myself in a big, giant, empty room. I can't get infected, and I can't infect anybody else, so I don't have to have this on right now. But everybody have a great day, and hopefully things will chill out here at work and we can go back to normal. That would be really nice. So bye everybody. Peace out. Have a good time playing role-playing games. Bye.